24th. I'm sorry I can't be with you today, but as promised, we're going to talk about a brand new topic. We're going to talk about Java classes and objects. So we've been using objects for quite a while, right? We make scanner objects, we make string objects. All of these are objects, but what does that mean and how is it related to classes? So first, a question. What do all these four pictures have in common? Well, pretty simply, I think you guys would agree with me that they are four pictures of dogs. So a dog, for this purpose, is going to be our example type of class. So a class is simply a blueprint or a way that we can create an object of a certain type. So I want to create dog objects. I want to make lots and lots and lots of dogs. I really like dogs. But before I can even get there, I have to figure out some things. Well, how do they look? What ways would we describe them? Those are a dog's attributes. So we may say that a dog has a certain color. They may have a name. They may have a weight. They may have a height. They may have long hair versus short hair. These are all attributes or ways that we can describe how they look. I'm not telling you anything about my dog right now. I'm just telling you that I know these things. I will be able to tell for every dog a color, a name, a weight, and so forth. Now, behaviors are different. These are things that they do. Well, dogs can play fetch. They can eat. They can poop. They can bark. These are things that dogs do. So see the two differences here. One is very much looking about describing them, and others are looking about things they do and actions. So we're going to look at a class structure in a general idea. So I have a public class in Java, and these are attributes about them. So I know dogs' names, I know their age, I know their color, and I know their weight. Behaviors, on the other hand, look a little different. Here, they can bark, and a bark is when they bark and they say their name. So the top here are instance variables. They describe what a dog could possibly look like or ways that we can describe a dog. And the behaviors are called methods, and they're actions or things that dogs can do. So you'll notice here, though, I have given no initial values. I haven't given my dog a name. I haven't given my dog an age or a color or weight. And so when you set up a class, you leave these blank until you get to a very special method called a constructor. So here at the top, I still have those instance variables, right? Name, age, color, weight. But now I have this constructor. So this first constructor, I am very important as the programmer. I get to say what the best dog in the world looks like, what their name is, everything about them. And so that's called the default constructor. So notice first, before we even talk about what's in the default constructor, that a constructor is always public and it has the class name or the same name as the class. So dog, open and close parentheses. There's no parameters because remember, I'm really special. I get to pick what a dog looks like. So I think the best dog in the world's name is Elsa. Her age is 9. Her color is black, and she weighs 89.5 pounds. Okay, so I'm getting to set those values. Now, not everybody, though, is going to agree with me. Sometimes they're going to want to pick their own dog's name, tell me its age, tell me its color, and tell me its weight. So here, this second constructor lets them do that. Okay, and so when they call this constructor, which we'll see on the next page and we'll talk about in a minute, they get to pick the name of their dog, they get to pick its age, they get to pick its color, and they get to pick its weight. Now, I've referred a couple times here to these keywords, public and private. I don't think we've really talked about these before. What do those mean? Well, now that we're talking about creating classes, we can really talk about what those words mean. So public means that any programmer creating code can see this information all the time. Private means only when you are in the dog class and in between these two curly brackets that open and close the dog class, can you see and utilize those variables such that are named private. So if we have anything that's private, it can only be seen in the class. So why would I want to make my instance variables private? It's a great question. So the reason this is most likely done in kind of standard practice is when I then write my constructors and write methods and work with these variables in the class, I code it a really particular way. And if I was to make those public and they were to get random values that I didn't agree with, my code may not work. So instance variables are always private. It's about the only thing we'll work with in this class that is private. Everything else will be public. Okay, but remember, I talked about classes as just being a blueprint, right? So far, I haven't made any dogs. I've talked about how to make the best dog in the world with this default constructor and how to make a dog of your own choosing, but I actually haven't made any dogs. Okay? So, when we want to create dogs, we do this outside of this class. We're going to do it in our public main class, right? That same one we've been working with, public static void main. Okay, and then we're going to create a dog. So we're going to first say what type of object we're making, which is a dog. Then we're going to give it a name, my dog, and then it's a new dog. And when I call this dog, new dog here, with nothing in those parentheses, it's automatically going to make what I had in my default constructor. It's going to make a dog named Elsa who is age 9, is black, and weighs 89.5 pounds. Well, you know, my son's dog, he wants to call it Praline. He wants her to be 8 years old, brown, and weigh 95 pounds. So here the other constructor is being used. Then we have another dog named Sia, who the dog's name is Alex, the age is 13, it's white, and it's 9 pounds. Now, those other methods that we were creating, we created a public void bark. Well, now each of these will be able to bark. So when I say my dog.bark, it would print out on the screen, bark, Elsa. Dogson.bark would say, bark, Praline. And Sia.bark would say, bark, Alex. So we're able to create these basic objects and then utilize them. So that right there is just a really basic overview. But I don't expect that from this you learned how to write your own class and do it all. So what I did is I exercise on coding rooms. I showed you on Friday where you will have information that you'll read, multiple choice questions that you will try, and then you'll be able to go through this guided exercise. If at any point you get stuck, one, reach out, ask your classmates, or 2, email me. I may not be able to directly answer you until later in the day, but at least then you'll have a way of letting me know where you're stuck. So I hope this helps you learn about classes, and I look forward to seeing you back in class soon. Thanks.